Have you ever had a guest who knew more about your neighborhood than you did? I thought I was the local expert until I hosted a retired history teacher named Margaret on Orchard Street. The flat is a modest one-bedroom in the Lower East Side, exposed brick, a little balcony facing an alley, and those stubborn old radiators that clang whenever the heat kicks on. I always leave a welcome binder with restaurant tips, museum recs, and a walking route I consider my secret gem. I've lived in New York long enough to feel like I know its corners. Margaret arrived on a Wednesday afternoon, rolling a neat little carry-on. White hair in a bun, oversized glasses, the kind of person who exudes warmth before she even says hello. She told me she was here for a personal pilgrimage. I assumed she meant a food tour or Broadway binge. The first clue that she was different came that same night. Around 7 p.m., she messaged me. "Did you know your building stands on the old site of a pickle factory?" I blinked at my phone. Pickle factory? I live here, and I had no idea. She followed up with, "Also, the tenement next door housed over 40 families in the 1910s. Fascinating." The next morning, I stopped by to drop off extra towels, and she invited me in for tea. Spread across the dining table were books, photocopies, and handwritten notes. She was reconstructing the street's immigrant history, building a timeline of who lived here, what businesses thrived, and how the neighborhood changed. She knew more about my block after 24 hours than I'd learned in years of hosting. As the days went on, I got more texts. There used to be a Yiddish theater 2 doors down. The bodega across the street was once a bakery run by Polish immigrants. Each fact was delivered with delight, as if she'd uncovered buried treasure. On Friday evening, she asked if I wanted to join her for a walk. I thought, why not? We strolled Orchard Street while she pointed out buildings, reading history into cracked bricks and faded signage. She told me how the Lower East Side was once so packed with pushcarts, you could barely walk down the block. She even showed me an old photo she'd found online of children playing stickball, right where my fire escape hangs today. I'll admit, it felt strange being schooled on my own neighborhood by someone visiting for the first time, but it was also kind of magical. I wasn't just seeing apartments and delis anymore. I was seeing layers of lives stacked across a century. The twist came at checkout. Margaret left early Sunday morning, and when I went in to clean, I noticed she'd left something behind on the kitchen counter, a neatly folded packet of papers labeled "For the Host." Inside was a 12-page history of the building and block, complete with references and old photographs she'd tracked down. She'd even written a little note, "Thought you might want to know your home story. Thank you for letting me stay where so many stories began." I sat down at the tiny Orchard Street table and read the whole thing cover to cover. For once, cleaning could wait. Hosting usually feels like giving people a slice of New York for a few nights, but Margaret flipped that. She gave me New York back, deeper, richer, and more alive than I'd ever seen it. So, have I ever had a guest who knew more about my neighborhood than I did? Absolutely. And thanks to her, every time I walk past the corner now, I don't just see a convenience store or a crowded street. I see ghosts of pushcarts, pickle barrels, and families who once made this place home.